Most people will say these wheel strategy setups I'm paying attention to this week are extremely boring. Well, guess what? As an option seller, boring pays to be patient. Let me show you. Yo, what is going on, Premium Chasers? I hope you are having a God-blessed day today. Every single person that comments down below is going to get my early retirement strategy guide, how I plan to retire and generate income during my retirement years. So drop a comment down below. I'll personally send that over to you. And while you're down there, hit that like button and that subscribe button. It helps us reach more people. But guys, today we're going to be talking about the top setups I'm paying attention to this week as an options seller, specifically the wheel strategy, aka the Ark Options Strategy. So let's go over the shoulder. Obviously, we have our live portfolio with Kraft, Heinz, and Snapchat right now. We'll dive into that in a second. I want to go into some of the setups here that I want to be paying attention to besides the ones in the public portfolio. And the first one is Target. Okay, Target has been getting beat down pretty badly here recently, and it is setting up very, very nicely. We could see on the RSI, which basically tells you how overbought or oversold a position or a stock is. It being at 35, it is fairly oversold. That means people are kind of pouring out of it, so to speak. They are selling off their shares, and when a lot of people are selling off their shares, right, that drives the stock price down. And we could see that for the past, really this entire month, it's been on a bit of a downtrend, setting really kind of riding this bottom Bollinger Band down. Now, we all know as option sellers, we like to sell our cash secured puts when we are towards that bottom Bollinger Band, right? That is huge. Cannot stress it enough. That's when you're going to get the best possible strikes as well as the best possible premium, right? Especially if assignment is a possibility. So I'm watching Target very, very heavily for the 90 cash secured puts. And I also love the fact that Target is well below the 200 and 300 day moving averages. Okay. Next is going to be, obviously, I'm just going to quickly gloss over these since we talk about it a lot as our open position, is Kraft Heinz. Listen, your boy got a little bit of a little scare there earlier this week with the big news from Kraft Heinz separating into two companies. I got a little nervous. I was like, guys, I just opened up this cash secured put the day before the next day. I'm dropping down to 25s. I was like, are you what? Like, and it's fine. I was going to stick to my plan anyway, but look at this nice juicy recovery that we got, guys. This is why I love being an option seller. You could see we're already back up on our puts. If you go look at the past couple of videos, you could see we were down for like a day and we came back. That's why time is on my side. I still got 20 days to this expiration, right? And you guys can see that in our live trade log. If you want this full trade log, right, click the first link in the description of today's video. You're going to learn about our Ark Options Strategy, how it beats the wheel strategy. And also you'll be able to get this if you learn a little bit more about our OSS mentorship and mastermind program, which if you're trying to take option selling seriously as an investor, you're going to want to learn more about that. Click the first link in the description of today's video. But with that said, we are watching Kraft Heinz. I may close this out. This was a big market overreaction. As I mentioned earlier this week, I was like, I don't know. I don't know what this news is actually going to do long term, right? I think short term, I don't know. Stay tuned. I think once I'm out of this, I'm probably just going to wait till the dust settles when they actually separate before jumping back in here. And we're working our way back towards our 200 and 300 day moving average. So I'm just kind of being patient here. Once I lock up, I don't know how much room I have to lock up. So I have 1.86% ROI on my collateral here. I don't have much room unless I see a setup to free up that $2,700 into a different opportunity. But, we'll see. We're going to quickly gloss over Snapchat as well. Why? Because Snapchat, I have my put expiring September 12th here, okay? Coming up here this Friday, right? I am already up here a decent amount on my puts, collecting my premium. We'll see. My cash secured puts, I always like closing out early when I can. So I'm going to do my best to close this one out this week, okay? Before my expiration date on the 12th. I really don't like weird things happen. And look, guys, we've all seen Snapchat. What the heck? Dude, this thing's below 7 1 hour. The next hour, it's above 7. Like now it's at 7:30, working its way back towards its middle Bollinger Band area. I'm like, it's a bit of a roller coaster ride if you ask me, guys. All right. So it's nice to see it's back at 7:30. I did take assignment on the previous, on my previous cash secured put on it where I got assigned at 750, and then I have my covered calls expiring for the 8 covered calls where I'm selling now my shares that I bought at 750 for $8 potentially on October 3rd. Okay, so paying attention to obviously Snapchat this week because that is a decent sized position in the public portfolio here. Next one I'm watching is Fortinet, off an absolute cliff, high conviction stock. Well, no, I wouldn't say high conviction. I'll be like it's a fairly high conviction stock. for me. I'm going to be paying attention to this one a bit more as well. I may be jumping into some additional cash secured puts on Fortinet if the premiums justify it. I'm thinking if I can get something at like the 70 level, that would be ideal for me. I'd really enjoy a 70 if I can do a 70 put. I think this was a big market overreaction on this. You could see the spread now on the Bollinger Band is massive here on it, right? And when things like this happen, this is where you kind of have to just make your own decisions. You always have to make your own decisions, but with the Bollinger Bands kind of at this level, they're not as helpful as when they're like a little bit tighter, like it is here, right? So obviously, huge spread here from 63 bottom to 105 top. I mean, just wild. And we are below not too much below, but fairly below the 200 and 300-day moving averages of $89 and $98 for the 200. So if I can do something at the 70 cash secured puts, that's totally a premium chase and play. I mean, we haven't seen those levels in quite a while here, right? 2024, right? So 8/15/2024, I'm looking at there. So like for me, I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to pay attention to it though, depending on what that ROI and collateral is. You guys already know ROI and collateral for me is everything. I don't care if I'm doing covered calls or if I'm doing cash secured puts. I treat those shares as if it's my as if it's money, because it is, right? So for example, this Snapchat one, right? I have those shares. My average cost base is $750. I'm not factoring my premium collected here. I just, for simplicity's sake. So I'm just saying $750. That's my collateral, right? 100 times 750 is $750. That's what I'm treating it at, right? And then I collected $17.33 of premium on that for a 2.31% return on that, okay? So next one I am paying attention to is General Mills, right? This has nice, if anybody jumped into this, let me know. I've been kind of mentioning it. I never jumped into this one myself at all, but I have been mentioning it, especially in our private group, pretty much daily on our pre-market calls every single morning, and it was set up very, very nicely. And look at this, up 2% yesterday, and at the top of the Bollinger Band. So congrats to you if you did jump into some cash secured puts on that. Most likely Monday you will be able to close that out, and there was a great setup here on the 28th to jump into some cash secured puts, and you'd probably be able to close out those cash secured puts on Monday morning, if not yesterday, for within a matter of a couple days, being able to close out your cash secured put position. I mean, can it get any better than that? That's why I love, when you don't have to let everything go to expiration. A lot of people in our community do. Nothing wrong with that. But as you get an experienced option seller, as you become better and stronger and more experienced, right, you being able to catch these quick moves, like where you open a cash secured and the next day stock, jumps up on you, closing that out to capture like 70 to 80%, even 50% of your premium in a single day. I'm totally cool. If a stock shoots up and I can capture 50% of my premium in a single day, like, I don't care what my ROI on collateral is at that point. I'm capturing 50% in a single day, right? Annualized, obviously it's not necessarily scalable annualized, but I still like to look at that. But that will blow the return out of the water, right? So I would totally do trades like that. If it's a day or two and I can capture 50, 60% of premium, you already know I'm 100% most of the time going to do it, unless there's some other reasoning that I wouldn't. Next one, Broadcom. What on God's greenery, man? This thing after earnings just shot up. So I'm expecting a pullback here, which I am paying attention to pretty heavily here. This was, I think, a little bit blown overboard in my opinion. I mean, my gosh, from 293 in a matter of a couple days. This is what happens when you trade during earnings week. I saw a couple people jumped into some cash secured puts on this during their earnings week here. And, just as easily could have gone the other way, guys. I don't like to do that during earnings week, but congrats to you if you did those cash secured puts on Broadcom here, and you're able to get out of those pretty much immediately yesterday, within a matter of days again. But I'm expecting a pullback here, and I will be paying attention to, because I do love this company, one of my conviction list stocks. All right, and then last one I'm still paying attention to is Conagra, not last one. I'm watching Sienna. Sienna, just a massive jump. Already starting to get that pullback, but just a massive jump as well from like the 90s to the 116s. Expecting a pullback here. If we see it, maybe some cash secured puts, but the spread is starting to get massive on the Bollinger Bands. A couple other ones, Conagra, as well as Dollar Tree, Hormel, as well as, which one is this? This is, I believe, UPS, if my Yahoo Finance finance here actually loads, let me just type it in. UPS, I'm still watching as well. So a couple things I am watching here. UPS is set up nice. I didn't end up jumping into this. I was hoping it can work its way down a little bit more, but it's a good setup regardless, right? Trading below the 2 and 300 day moving averages as well. And there's a couple other ones that I'm watching, Dollar Tree, as well as Conagra Brands and Hormel, couple of the cheaper stocks. So I am going to be obviously making some moves today that are going to be adding to the trade log. So if you have this trade log, follow along with it. Obviously, you can always make a copy for yourself. If you want this trade log, plus learn about the Ark Options Strategy and how it blows the wheel strategy out of the water and how you could set this up for yourself literally in a matter of a couple hours, and then management takes like about 15 minutes a week, like if that. Click the first link in the description of today's video. Get this full options premium tracker completely for free. That'll be the first link in the description of today's video. Guys, remember, sell options, collect premiums, repeat. I'll see y'all tomorrow.